How's it going, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're checking out the Line 6 Catalyst. How does it sound? How much does it cost? And is it worth your time? Well, let's find out. Yes, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are all having an excellent day today. Now this is going to be a pretty interesting demo. The Catalyst is the brand new amp from Line 6, and the 60-watt version of the amp is priced exactly the same as some of those popular desktop amps, like the Spark, like the Yamaha THR, and others, Boss, but in a much more traditional amp package. So 112 speaker, traditional cabinet, controls on top. Now the version I have here is the 100-watt version, but the 60-watt version also has, like I said, the 112 speaker. And then there's the 200-watt 212 beast. But what we're going to do is focus on this one and see if it's stacks up to those other great practice amps, what the tones sound like, what the effects sound like, all that. Let's jump in. Right, now on the top panel of the Catalyst, you've got channel A, B, and manual. Now, channel A and B can be saved, so you just make your sound the way you want it, save it to those presets. You've got your main rotary knob for selecting, your different amp model that you want, and each model has a boost function as well. And the boost is pretty dynamic, right? From just barely broken up to kind of sear your face off. The level of boost is actually really excellent for each one of the models. So that's awesome. Then you've got a 3-band EQ plus presence, and of course your effects section. Now as for the effects, there's 4 different types. There's delays, and there's 6 different types of delays, and there's of course a dedicated knob for your repeats. If you hold down the effect button and hit the tap button, you go to the next bank, which is your modulations. There's 6 different types there. Hold it down, hit the tap button, then you get into pitch shifting, 6 different types there, and of course you've got your dedicated verbs as well, and there's 6 different types of verbs. There's also your tap tempo for your delays, so if we scroll over to delay here, then we can just select our tap there, and if you hold it down, it actually goes into tuner mode. So this section here is actually pretty cool, and yeah, Line 6 is just known for having great effects, and I can confirm this amp sounds great with effects. So that's a really quick run through of some of the controls on the Catalyst. Of course, I'll link to it in the video description below. You can get full detailed specs and pricing and all that kind of stuff down there. Let's plug it in and see what it sounds like. So I'll be playing through a PRS SE guitar, and we've got the Catalyst ready to rock. Now on the Catalyst, I've got some verb and some delay, so it sounds like this. That's on the clean channel, really nice and warm tone. Now I've got everything at 12 o'clock, presence, treble, mid, bass, gain, and I'm gonna hit the boost control. Now I've got this one at 12 o'clock as well, and this is sort of what it sounds like, just sort of halfway up. And of course, that's just on the clean channel. The next one up is Boutique, and that just has a totally different, I guess, EQ profile for it. So that one already has some, I have the gain at 12 o'clock. That one's already breaking up a little bit. Maybe a little more sensitive to gain. And if I hit the boost at 12 o'clock there too. Sort of like maybe a little bit more mid-heavy on that one. If we go to the next one here, we've got chime. I'm going to take the boost off again so we can just hear the basics of chime. And of course, I still have the delay and the verb on from the Catalyst. Really nice warm tone, especially using the neck pickup there. Let's go to crunch here. Now I've got the gain at 12 o'clock. The boost is not on. Let's see what kind of crunch we can get here. Gonna hit the boost, still at 12 o'clock there. Let's keep taking a tour through here. Next up, we've got dynamic. So again, I'll play in the neck pickup, just some of those clean chords. I'm gonna take the gain down a little bit because it's already breaking up with the gain at 12 o'clock. Now, as for the effects, Line 6 actually includes a guide that just sits on your amp and it shows you all the different effects available. So all the delays, you can see there, vintage, tape echo, analog, all the modulations, chorus, trem, phaser, flanger, all that good stuff. The pitch shifting, octaves, the verbs, they're all good. I've been through all of the settings and they all sound phenomenal. Like I said, that's what Line 6 does. They are just phenomenal at effects. So all the effects on the amp sound really, really good. Right, so here are my final thoughts on the Catalyst. Where did I think it excelled and where do I think some improvements could be made? Well, here we go. Number one, price point. I think they got this absolutely right. The 60-watt version is $299 and competes with a lot of entry-level amps, but you get the full-size cabinets, the 112 speaker. It should be noted that the 60-watt version doesn't have the MIDI pins, so if you want to control your amp via MIDI, you're going to have to use a USB workaround, which can be done, but the 100-watt one has the MIDI port. So if that's important to you, make note of that. But yeah, the 60-watt version, you know, I ran this at 50 watts most of the time, and in this room, I turned the volume down still. So I think 60 watts for $299 is very, very good for like a practice / performance amp. Really, really nice. If you need the 100 watts, it's really nice to have the selector on the back so you can just kind of tweak it to whatever room you're in for volume. Now, versatility. Absolutely great with this amp. Now, navigation of the effects, I think could be better. What you have to do to select some of your other effects is hold down the effect button and then use your amp selector dial. So that amp selector dial doubles up as two things. Number one, of course, it just selects the model of amp. And number two, you hold down the effect and you use that same button to scroll between effects, but it doesn't show you which effect it is. So you have to like select it and listen to it and be like, oh, this is phaser. Oh, this one's trem. So there's no visual representation of the effect you're on. So I think that is a weak point. Some amps, actually most amps, you can just play and it's incredibly intuitive. This one is very, very versatile, but I didn't find the selection of effects super intuitive. Once you use it a bit, you're like, okay, I get it. But if you're just to sit down with no instruction, it's not incredibly, intuitive or simple to use just to get to your effects. So that's one thing. Other than that, like, man, what a great package. It feels like a full-sized amp. The price is really good. The versatility is good. Sound is good. I found the high gain sounds the weakest of this amp. I found the cleans, the overdrives, the crunches really good. On the high end, I would probably tweak it a little bit more with the EQ and the gain and stuff like that. But just using the rotary knob setting, I found that one to be definitely the weakest of all the amp tones. So who exactly is this amp for? I think if you're the type of person that needs a little bit more jam than the smaller desktop style practice amps, and you want to be able to take it and play with, you know, drums and bass and keys or whatever, this is a very, very good and affordable option. If you're just going to be playing it in your basement and your bedroom, I wouldn't even think about the 100-watt version. I would go straight to the 60-watt version and just enjoy it. If you need a lot more volume, go ahead, grab the 100-watt. But I think for most people, that 60-watt is the sweet spot and probably my recommendation for most people who just want like some good sounding effects, some different amp models, great EQ section, gain knob, boost knob, presence knob, like there's a lot of stuff there. So you can really tailor the tone. So I think the features and the price, the 60-watt would be my recommendation for most people, and the sweet spot, if you need a lot more jam, well then go with the 100. Thanks so much for watching. As I mentioned, I will link to these amps down in the video description below so you can check out the specs and prices there. Other than that, hope you guys have a great week. Take care.